On this week's show, BMW i3 owners take the German automaker to court, Tesla sells stock to raise money for building the Tesla Model 3, and a clever engineer who gives a pre-autopilot Tesla Model S an autopilot makeover. These stories and more coming up next on 10. Enjoying today's show on YouTube and want to read the stories we're referring to today? Just head to our website at transportevolved.com/TEN, where you'll find today's show notes, as well as links to the latest future car news, buying guides, tech primers, and car reviews. It's Friday, May 20th, 2016. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield, and as always, this show is being brought to you by the ad-free wonderfulness of our supporters over at patreon.com. Fancy joining them? You can make a pledge to support our show from as little as $1 per month. And if you consider raising that to $5 per month, you'll get access to our brand new Slack channel, where you can chat with the team and other fans of the site. We start today's show with news of a class action lawsuit filed this week in Los Angeles against BMW on behalf of owners of the BMW i3 Rex range extended electric car. According to papers filed with the US District Court on Tuesday, the class action lawsuit centers around operation of the two-cylinder 500cc range extended engine, which owners say is simply not powerful enough to sustain the i3 Rex at highway speeds when the battery is empty, posing a dangerous safety hazard. Unlike European versions of the BMW i3 Rex, where owners can actually switch on the Rex long before the battery pack is empty, essentially slowing down the rate of discharge rather than providing the majority of motive power, US market i3 Rex models will not turn their range extended engines on until their battery packs are pretty much empty, dramatically reducing performance as a consequence. The reason behind this is the difference between the EPA and CARB regulations for plug-in cars, but if the cars are pushed too hard during i3 Rex extended mode, there's a substantial change in vehicle performance. That's because while the BMW i3 Rex has a 130 kilowatt electric motor, the range extended engine can only put out 25 kilowatts sustained. And if the battery is near or at empty, it doesn't take a genius to know that there will be some major performance issues. We'll keep an eye on this case and, as always, let you know of its outcome in a future show. From one automaker-facing owner ire now to perhaps another one, in the form of Japanese automaker Mitsubishi, which admitted this week that it had used desktop calculations to determine the fuel economy of some of its models, including the highly popular Outlander plug-in hybrid. The disclosure comes after weeks of investigation into the company and its fuel economy ratings, and it demonstrates that in a world post-Volkswagen Dieselgate, openly cheating or even failing to do proper economy testing will not be tolerated. In Mitsubishi's case, these so-called desktop calculations, a process that's actually illegal, is believed to have led to test results that were as much as 2.3% better than actual real-world figures, meaning that the Outlander plug-in hybrid that you just purchased doesn't get quite the incredible fuel economy figures that you might think. Mitsubishi has already lost its president, Telesuro Akawa, as a consequence of the scandal, and it's also agreed to a $2.2 billion majority acquisition from Nissan as an attempt to save the brand. But at this point, and I'm not condoning the behaviour, I'd like to remind you that it's not just the automakers at fault here. The official test organisations and agencies responsible for approving these faulty figures, including the EPA and the European Union, need to take some responsibility for the rampant fakery and vagueness of some of the automaker fuel economy tests. So here's hoping that everyone involved gets their just desserts. We're off to Wall Street now with the news this week that California automaker Tesla Motors is selling off $2 billion of common stock to help it fund the acceleration of Model 3 development and production and pay taxes on stock options exercised by Tesla CEO Elon Musk. According to documents submitted to the SEC, the majority of the funds raised from the secondary offering, around $1.4 billion, will go towards Model 3 development. The remaining money will be used by Mr. Musk to pay off taxes associated with his already held stock. As part of the sale, Tesla carried out an audit for Model 3 reservations, taking into account organic customer cancellations, around 8,000 reservations, and cancellations made by Tesla of orders placed by speculators trying to get around the two-car limit it had placed on Model 3 reservations. There was also a smaller number of previously counted reservations, essentially duplicates on Tesla's system, which also got removed, reducing the total number of Tesla's pre-reservations for Model 3 from the previously quoted 400,000 down to around 373,000. That might be lower than previously quoted, but it's still one hell of an achievement for a car that won't even go on sale for another 18 months. Staying with Tesla and Model 3 for a second, it's worth noting that this week we also heard the news that Tesla has been in talks with LG Chem SK Innovation and Samsung SDI this week over securing additional lithium-ion battery cells for early Model 3 production. While Tesla's massive gigafactory near Reno, Nevada, due to begin cell production later this year but not reach full capacity until 2020, may be Tesla's endgame for Model 3 battery procurements. The massive amount of Tesla pre-orders for Model 3 was larger than Tesla or many analysts predicted. And that means that while Tesla's gigafactory will be churning out high-capacity lithium-ion cells by the time Model 3 goes into production in late 2017, it won't be producing cells in high enough volumes to supply Tesla with all of the cells it needs to fulfill all of those Model 3 pre-orders. It also means, we'd guess, that until the Tesla gigafactory is running at full capacity, we're going to see demand for lithium-ion cells go up, not down. And while that may be great news for the firms making those cells and selling them at profit, it will not be good news for other automakers looking for their own source of battery cells for future models. After all, if Tesla snaps up cell supplies, it's going to have a knock-on effect for other automakers and gadget manufacturers as well. Moving away from Tesla, we're off to the beautiful Rockies next with the news that Colorado has just revised its renowned electric car incentive program in an effort to make it easier to understand. The measure, House Bill 16-1332, does away with forcing residents to wait until the end of the year to claim their tax rebate, instead allowing car buyers the chance to transfer their tax credit, now $5,000 instead of the old $6,000, to finance or leasing companies, effectively knocking down the purchase price for plug-in cars at the point of sale. Sadly, however, the new bill does do away with the state's previous used car tax credit program, which allowed residents to make use of the incentive on eligible used cars being imported and registered into the state of Colorado for the first time, regardless of their age. Now it's passed, it's just waiting for Governor John Hickenlooper's signature before it can become law. Shifting gears now, it's time to take a look at an all-new, very exciting pair of concept cars unveiled by Swedish automaker Volvo this week. As we explained on Wednesday, the two new concept cars, the Volvo Concept 40.1 and 40.2, are a preview of Volvo's brand new Compact Modular Architecture Platform, or CMA for short, and a preview of an upcoming refresh to the entire 40 Series family of vehicles. Why are we featuring it here? Well, CMA has been designed from the ground up to accommodate a variety of different drivetrains, including a 3-cylinder plug-in hybrid design that will combine zero-emission capability with a frugal gasoline engine, as well as an all-electric variant that will offer a claimed 215 miles of range per charge. Aside from looking absolutely stunning, the two concept cars and their all-electric drivetrain hint at a future where Volvo is very much engaged in not only self-driving cars but zero-emission long-range electric vehicles that will certainly cross-shop against offerings from much larger automakers like Audi, Mercedes-Benz and BMW. Given my soft spot for Volvo, I can't wait. When the Nissan LEAF electric car launched back in late 2010, it was initially produced in Japan and then shipped around the world to various key markets. But in late 2012, for the 2013 LEAF model year, Nissan changed that practice by launching a LEAF production at 2 additional facilities, Smyrna, Tennessee and Sunderland, England. Since then, both US and European factories have been producing locally made LEAFs for their respective parts of the world, with Nissan's Smyrna facility chucking out the family-friendly electric hatchback for North America and South American customers, while the UK one handles the majority of European cars. But this week we learned that Nissan's UK LEAF plant has celebrated building its 50,000th LEAF for the European market, a substantial milestone for both the brand and the facility. Having toured the factory floor there myself, I can say without doubt that Nissan Sunderland staff should be rightly proud of their achievement. Here's to the next 50,000 British LEAFs rolling off the production line. Of course, the future of transportation isn't just about cars that are cleaner, greener, safer and smarter. It's also about other forms of transport as well. And this week, California company Proterra announced the unveiling of a new higher capacity lithium-ion battery pack for its range of electric buses, as well as a new EV simulator designed to help fleet managers envisage how much fuel they'll save by switching to electric. While we can't really tell you much about the latter, it's essentially a piece of software designed for fleet managers who like math. The new 330 kilowatt-hour battery pack is the same physical size as its predecessor, but packs in 28% more energy. And interestingly, Proterra is offering a free, yes, I did say free, battery upgrade to all of its current bus customers who own a bus with the previous generation Catalyst XR battery pack inside. More energy storage means longer range and higher savings for fleet operators, so expect to see Proterra gain far more interest in public transit operators as they make the switch now that electric buses have come of age. And we're finishing today's show with a duet of autonomous vehicle stories, the first of which involves a self-driving truck made by a startup called Otto. The company, founded by ex-Google employees, has been operating in stealth for some time, and it says it began life to help develop truck driver tools to improve their safety on the road, not to mention improving fuel economy and safety for other road users as well. But now it says it's ready to be a little more public about its exciting autonomous vehicle technology. So far, Otto has demonstrated its autonomous truck in the real world just once, but it's clear from the names associated with it and its backers and its engineers that Otto really does have a bright future ahead of it. And the trucking business is massive. So keep your eyes peeled. And finally, back in 2014, Tesla CEO Elon Musk announced Tesla's Autopilot hardware and software solution for its Model S electric car. At the time, many Tesla owners were excited that they might be able to get their existing cars to drive themselves, until, of course, Tesla confirmed that only cars made after October 2014, essentially ones with the required hardware fitted at factory, would be able to drive themselves. But this week, we heard from renowned Tesla hacker Jason Hughes, yes, the same guy who discovered a hint that Tesla was readying a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack after noodling inside the operating system of his car, that wasn't the case. As it happens, Jason owns a Tesla Model S with autonomous drive capabilities, but his wife also owns a Tesla Model S from before that time. And so Jason's just successfully completed a wild but totally admirable retrofit of his Autopilot hardware to his wife's pre-2014 Tesla Model S. Buying the parts himself, something he estimates costs him around $9,000, Hughes replaced all of the key components in his wife's Model S with Autopilot-ready ones. And now her car can drive itself too. It's super cool to know it's technically possible, and well done to Jason for undertaking this project. But I don't think it's something your average Model S driver would want to do, unless, of course, you're as skilled as he is, in which case, maybe. Well, that's it for today. We managed another 10 stories in this week, so I hope you enjoyed them all. All being well, I'll be back next week at the usual time with another episode of T.E.N. And in the meantime, you can find all the news that's fit to print at our website at transportevolve.com, catch up with us on Twitter at transportevolve, or check out our latest shows on our usual YouTube channel. And if you liked what you saw today, please consider keeping us independent and impartial by supporting our Patreon crowdfunding campaign over at patreon.com/transportevolved. Funds are still pretty tight, and we can't expand much more until we hit our $2,000 per month mark. So please do consider helping us get there by making your pledge. Every little really does count. As always, there are lots of stories we didn't manage to fit into today's show, including Tesla's response to allegations that underpaid foreign nationals were employed by a subcontractor on its paint booth project at its Fremont facility on inappropriate visas. Sparky, one of our RAV4 EVs, and her sickly battery finally dies. We chat to Matt, Chevy Jolt EV Tesker, about marketing electric cars, and the car thief who got the EV grin when he sold a BMW i3 in London. So when we're done, be sure to head to our site to read them all. Thanks for watching. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Have a great weekend, and until next time, keep evolving.